Hello, welcome back. So, today I will have 3 stories for you from Emma the A-hole. The first one is from Glittering Sun _ 5554. Am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law my daughter can no longer stay at her house during the week? My daughter, 6 female, has recently been asking her grandmother to stay at her place often, and my mother-in-law just decides to tell me that my child will be staying at her place. Mind you, not saying, oh, hey, can my granddaughter stay at my place for like a little bit? Nah, it was like, look, I am telling you, I am ordering you. Jesus. And now normally, this wouldn't bother me. This wouldn't bother me. And think too much bother me and normally this wouldn't bother me and wouldn't think too much of this. However, my husband said that my daughter has been asking to stay there because of the yelling at our house. I will admit that recently I have been losing my patience with her more easily than in the past. So yes, after asking her 3 times to do something, I will yell at her to please do what I asked. When I found out this was why she was going over there so much, I told my husband and my mother-in-law that it would be stopping. By no means am I a bad mother, and both of her siblings completely understand. Completely understand that I yell out of frustration from the lack of listening. They have admitted that they know if they just listen the first time, that they listen the first time to what I say, I'm nice and calm and things run smoothly. I've always explained to her why I yelled at her after the situation calmed down. Which, okay. Sorry. So to me, her asking to go over there because I yell is just an excuse. She isn't over there because she isn't made to behave the same way there as she is here, and she knows it. I've heard how she talks to her grandparents, and I'm disgusted that they didn't say a word about it. But now, both my husband and my mother-in-law, who already hates me, are super pissed off that I've said she can't go over there for excuses like this. And I'm not stopping her from going over there completely, just stopping this behavior when she doesn't like something, she runs to them to avoid having to deal with the consequences of her actions. At home. So I'm an a-hole. Please know, I am aware that I am an a-hole for yelling at my kid for not listening. And the first 2 times I asked her to do something, yep, I am. So if you're gonna tell me I'm an a-hole for that, you're wasting your time. I tried shooting. It didn't shoot. Okay. Sorry. Okay. First comment is from Vish Gupita 109. While no parent is an endless pool of patience, my daughter immediately favors the other parent upon being scolded or reprimanded, so kids know how to manipulate. But yes, mom already knows she's getting even more frequently, and hopefully she finds a way to be calm. Okay, for to say what I think, 'cause, I, to be honest, think that nobody sucks here, but then again, I could always be wrong. So please comment down your opinions of these stories below. Another one from Ancient Awareness 115. Oh, come on. I always hated that my kids turned me into a shouty fishwife, but they did it. But they did it is when you are asking them to do the same thing over and over and time is running out because they have to be at school and an event, and the challenge just happens. I made sure to try and shout less, but it still sometimes happens. Crossstitch, Retouch, I think. I'm sorry if I'm botching that name. Same when I'm told to when I've told my kids to do something several times and they don't, I just assume they can't hear me. Next story is from Throw Away Text a Boy. Update. Am I the evil forgetting? Oh, no, sorry. Not this one. This is the story. I read a wrong one. Sorry about that. Am I the evil for reporting a McDonald's worker for demanding a tip? I went to McDonald's yesterday with my 4-year-old and 1-year-old. My 4-year-old has autism, and after a long day of therapy, requested a Happy Meal. So I obliged. I did a curbside pickup order. My food came. There you go. My food. My food came out. I took the food and said thank you so much. I put my food came out. I took the food and said thank you so much. I put the food down and said thank you so much. I put out the food. I took the food and said thank you so much. I put the food down, and when I went turned back around to roll my window up, there was a hand inside my car, almost in my face. So I said, "What the hell?" Or what the hell? But I didn't have a tip for him. Oh, sorry. And backed up. His hand stayed there, and he said he would like a tip. I was very confused and simply said, "What?" He stated again he would like a tip. I told him I don't carry cash, and I was sorry, but I didn't have a tip for him. He stared at me and didn't say anything, but still had his hand out. I didn't know what to do at that point. I rolled my window up and looked away. He finally walked away and stormed back off into the store. I've had interactions with this employee before, and I could tell that he had a disability, possibly autism. But I wasn't sure, obviously, since I didn't know him. I called McDonald's to speak to a manager about it, because he had made me uncomfortable with how demanding he was and that he wouldn't leave after I told him I didn't have any cash. Manager states that he has autism and doesn't know any better. That someone earlier in the day had received a tip, so probably thought it was okay to ask for one. I said, okay, I understand. My son also has autism, and I really do get that they can have a hard time reading social cues. and be impulsive, etc. But that having autism, that having autism was not an excuse to make people uncomfortable. I do not allow my 4-year-old to use his disability as an excuse to be rude or harass people, and I don't think a grown adult should be either. The manager got really irritated with me and said I was being a Karen. I was not trying to get the employee in trouble in any way. I wanted it to be brought up to the manager's attention so that he could be spoken to and told not to harass customers for tips. That was all. I feel it can be dangerous for the employee and customers if the main man were to put his hand in the wrong person's face unexpectedly, or if he were to become really upset and aggressive at someone for not giving him a tip. I know not everyone with autism has aggression behaviors. Aggression behaviors when they're upset, but this man was clearly upset. I did not give him a tip. I did not give him a tip, and I feel would have escalated if I didn't roll my window up and start to leave. With manager calling me a Karen, I really don't know if I was in the wrong here. Should I have? I just let it go. I personally think that nobody's stable here. I'm not sure though, but let's see the conversation. This one's from your Botany. I think. Sorry if I'm butchering that name. Not NTA. Autism doesn't mean you have no responsibility for your actions. Manager should have apologized and kindly told this employee not to do that in the future. Second comment from Bursting with Flava. My family owns a small town restaurant. I get how important tipping is for our employees and their mental day. That said, I have never left a tip at any fast food place or even witnessed another customer doing it. Is this a thing? Like if I started choking in a McDonald's and an employee saved my life, it still wouldn't have crossed my mind to tip them until this post. Oh boy. Sorry for that. Last one from H Mary 176. When I worked there a couple years ago, we weren't allowed to take tips. It was against corporate policy, and it wasn't something that really happened low either. I did have a very nice but incredibly intoxicated lady try to get around it by throwing $5 at me from across the counter once, though. Her logic was if I landed on the floor, it didn't count as a tip. I completely forgot. Yeah, I believe that, in McDonald's, you can't, or like in any really fast food joint, the people aren't allowed to take tips by the company. Okay, last story for this video. I'm really hope for telling my mill that my hypothetical future kids won't be calling her sorry. Am I the a-hole? Oh, this post is from u/no _ cartographer 8186. Am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law that my hypothetical kids will not be calling her by the ridiculous grandma name she picked? I, 27 female, got married a few months ago to a wonderful man with a pretty great family. His mother has her moments, but all in all, everyone gets along well. everyone gets along well. We spent a lot of time together since we all live in the same city. I wasn't that surprised when his mom started making some comments about the idea of us having kids. Of us getting started with the kids thing. So I tried to take it in strides, and she's pretty sensitive, and it wasn't worth causing conflict over it, even though I find pressure to have kids really invasive and annoying. I was able to handle it with graceful enough until she started talking about what she wanted our hypothetical future kids to call her. Without revealing the actual name, it means grandmother in a language she does not speak, from a culture in which she has distant ancestry but no current connection. She's long been fixated on presenting herself as part of an authority on this culture, much to the chagrin of her family, most of whom recognize that it's a bit of a touchy thing for people to claim if they any direct don't have a direct cultural connection. The name itself isn't ridiculous, but it's a little ridiculous that she wants her future grandkids to call her that, and I gave my opinion, albeit phrased as politely as possible. She's been pouting for weeks now, and brings it up whenever possible, still insisting that it's going to be her grandma's name. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Several people have asked for more info, so I'll just say that it's a bit of an Elizabeth Warren situation. Specifically, my very white, mostly Italian family has oral history about Towa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Ancestry, but no documented connection to the tribe and zero cultural involvement in the current day. Last story is from Marcel. Not a whole grandma. Grandma is like the woman who claims to be Cherokee princesses. Which, yes, very much so. Other comment from, second and last comment from Bosley Arts, or the people who claim to be totally Irish because some dude in their family a generation ago was. Like, I have quite a weird ancestry, but at the end of the day, I'm just an American. LMAO. Well, that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and